Today's the first day of the rest of your life. Hi, I'm Mike. I like repairing and collecting inexpensive wristwatches, and I share them with you here on the channel. I'm definitely not a watch snob, and I will find just about any watch that appeals to me and fix it up, put it on my wrist, just have fun with it. And so you never know what you're going to get on the channel. Here are two watches that I just picked up at the flea market. Let me show them to you, tell you what I like, tell you what I'm thinking, and I'll just give you a little idea of some other stuff going on the channel. I'll explain this one in a second. At a previous trip to the flea market, I got this watch. And I've always said, I wish watches could talk and tell you their story. And then I saw this in a box of $3 watches, and it said talking. I'm like, I have to have a talking watch. So I got this watch, and I thought maybe it was like a gimmick. Here, give it a listen.
It is 10:16 a.m.
If you are sight impaired, then this is a fantastic watch. It has nice big digits.
Stopwatch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All clear.
Anyway, long story short, I was amused by this watch, and I actually kind of dig the style. It's kind of Jacques Cousteau diving bell-esque. And with the exception of it needing a pin to reattach this proprietary band, it cleaned up real easily, and all it really needed was a battery. So that leads me to this next find, and it is another talking watch. So this one is just like plastic or resin, plastic band. It's pretty clean, but here's what got me really curious about it. This one has a button, says record or REC. So now I'm starting to wonder, is there a chance that this watch has a microphone and somehow allows you to record your voice or a voice memo? Anyway, I just thought it would be fun to play with. Comparing it to this watch has a gigantic display. So if your eyesight isn't all you were hoping it would be, this one at least gives you a fighting chance. The display on this one just looks so small. I don't have high hopes that it's going to be completely legible, but I couldn't resist. Talking watches to the side. This is an L6 Bulova, and this is very similar to another Bulova, a Bulova Commodore that I restored, and that was my father's watch. It's a sealed back on the case. So most likely this is a split stem, and so that will have to be removed, and then we'll need to pull out the crystal, and the movement then comes out through the front of the watch. And currently, what's the condition of this watch? Poor. The winding stem doesn't pull out. It doesn't push in. The watch doesn't set. The watch doesn't wind. But if you give it a little bounce, the balance moves and the second hand advances just a little bit. There we go. Part of the quandary for me is, how do you get the crystal out? And with my Bulova Commodore, I was able to just pop out. There was a bezel on the front that held the crystal in place. And it doesn't look like we have a bezel on the front of this. So you can pull out the stem and then put compressed air in there and try to blow the crystal out the front. I may just use my crystal lift, which is that tool that has all the little claw fingers on it that goes in there and just sort of grabs it, compresses it, and lifts it out. This is a Bergeon puller that can be used to pull hands on larger watches, and it can also be used to pull off split stems. We'll give it a try. See if we can get it on there. And can we give it a yank? Yeah, there it is. So it came out, What also came out looks like rust. So what's the condition of this? What do we got going on here? Let's see. I am seeing rust. Not a welcome sight, but then again, it is what it is. And as a watch repairer, well, we need to be skilled in dealing with all of those eventualities. For the most part, the dial's in really good shape. I like the dial. I'll give you a close-up view of the dial. I've always liked these vintage Bulovas because they do put like resources into creating these interesting textures on the dials. Anti-magnetic, waterproof. Apparently it's not, judging from the rust on the inside. Just on first glance, the plating looks to be all right. No major gouges. And I've always found that these plated or gold-filled watches from Bulova usually do a pretty good job of spanning the test of time, and they usually clean up pretty well. That's today's flea market report. Oh, you want to see something kind of cool real quick? Let me put that aside. Check this out. Dial and hands for a project that's currently on my bench, and I'm in the middle of rebuilding it. I don't expect the dial to tell you much. Navarre is the brand, but more interestingly, this is the dial to a mechanical movement. This is a 17 jewel E86 movement. But here's what's kind of fun. Here's the case. This watch goes in a cigarette lighter. And I've already refinished the case, and I just need to re-wick it and reassemble it. I'm placing this at late 1950s, early 1960s. So I'm pretty excited about finishing up this project and getting it on the channel. Always trying to bring you something different. So here's a look at all of the parts that make up this lighter watch, and it's amazing to me just how many separate components there are in these little tiny packages. It's part of the wonder of watchmaking, and it's what makes this hobby so fun, so exciting for me. I'm Mike. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. Be good, be well, be safe, and I look forward to our next time together.